Hey y'all, it's Nancy, the Handy Scandy. Thanks for joining me here on the Whimsy Stamps channel today. We are going to mix things up a little bit. Instead of doing Halloween, I'm going to do a fall-inspired card. So you can see I have the Lattice A2 Background Die, as well as this copper Spellbinders Glimmer foil, and I have my Glimmer hot foil system heating there on the right. And I'm trimming my foil down. I have everything on my desk. It's a bit cluttered, but I take care of that in just a second. So you can see I'm kind of struggling to cut this foil. And if you've ever used foil, pardon me, if you've ever used foil, you know that it can be stubborn. So using my die cut machine was easier than scissors, but Spellbinders actually has a little cutter tool that I think might be amazing for this process. Now I've taken the advice of my sweet friend Lisa Mensing to make this particular sandwich, and the key is to create that hinge at the top with some light tack tape. So the cardstock goes on the bottom, and then you put your die plate detail facing the paper, and then you hinge it, and then you lift the die and you put the foil in between the paper and the die, and the pretty faces the pattern on the die. And then you can see in the Glimmer hot foil system there in the middle, it'll tell you when the platform is hot, and when it is, then you can place that sandwich onto the system, onto the platform, and then you push the timer button. When the timer button goes from flashing to solid green, it's ready. So then you create the next sandwich, as you saw me do with the shim and the plate, and then you pull it off, and then you run the whole thing through your die cutting machine, and then you return it back, set the platform on the base, and here comes the magic. Now when you use the hinge, it keeps everything from shifting. It keeps the plate in place, the paper in place, the foil. So that hinge system is beautiful. It's a beautiful idea, and I would encourage you to use it. So I'm going to remove my tape, as you saw me remove from the die, and here we go. Drum roll. Look at that. Isn't that stunning? Now this again is a background die. It's not a hot foil plate. So this is a beautiful way to stretch those dies, and you can do it with smaller dies, sentiment dies, you name it. So these are some other ones that I did off camera. So the black one, I really wanted you to see what the foil looked like on the dark cardstock. And now this one, if you look close, you can see green kind of in between the patterns. Remember a few months ago when I got all inky and painty and messy with the green pigment powders? That's left over from one of those, and I just thought that green would be fun coming through. So I decided that would be the one that I make my card with, as you can see on the screen. So I have used this beautiful sunflower background stamp. It's red rubber. Of course, everything is from Whimsy and will be linked downstairs for your convenience. So I stamped, embossed, and then I used watercolor markers to color it in. And it wasn't watercolor paper, so it got a little touch and go for a minute. I don't always think through what medium I'm going to use before I stamp. So anyway, then you could see I was using my circle dies, again from Whimsy. They are the Pierce and Stitch circle dies. I think it was the third to smallest one. I lined it up in the center of the sunflower, and then I cut the hole, as you can see, through the sunflower and the cardstock and the background. And this is why, because I'm making a shaker, and it's so much fun. I used some tape to lift the sunflower up off the background, and look at this shaker mix, y'all. It's absolutely stunning. Now, of course, you know, this is from This Calls for Confetti, and it is called Autumn Buzz. You could see there were little bumblebees, there are sunflowers, wood grain pieces. Oh, it's just gorgeous. Just gorgeous. 3 sizes of the flowers, 3 sizes of the bees. It's one of my favorites. Definitely one of my favorites. So I adhered everything in place, made sure everything was glued down well, and then here you can see I just took a piece of twine and then a button from my stash just to kind of give it some more of that kind of homespun, fall-y country look. And I also did a sentiment. I did it off screen. Here I'm just stacking all of my acrylic blocks just to hold it down. But I added the sentiment that says Warm Wishes, and that is from the Christmas mini tag set. And I used the 2 smallest of my antique ATC frames to actually cut out the sentiment, and I adhered it down there at the bottom. You can see I also used 2 sizes of the Sunnies from the mix to embellish the outside, and I think it's an adorable card. I actually have a bonus card coming up that I was able to get finished. Look at that. Isn't that adorable? I love this technique, guys, using your dies to hot foil, whether it's a full background or whether it's something else. You can use sentiments, the whole 9, guys. Your imagination is your only limit. So tell me what you think. Tell me if this is something you have done or would do in the future. And of course, like, subscribe, comment, all those good things. We appreciate it. YouTube likes to know that you like what we're doing. And until next time, guys, this has been Nancy, the Handy Scandy for Whimsy Stamps. Mwah! And I'm out.